All right, it's April 3rd, 2022. I'm at Farm 14MX in Centreville, Mississippi for SERA Round 3. This is a Gulf States Off-Road and Southern Enduro Riders Association combined race. And this counts as SERA Round 3. This is a sprint enduro format. There is a true cross test on this format that's mostly track, so I'm gonna be pretty uncomfortable on that, but that's a good thing. Let's get going. I got a little out of order editing my race recap videos, so pardon the delay on this one. I got in a cold about 10 days before this race and it turned into laryngitis. When I got home from the race, I had no voice at all. My voice is back now, so let's get into it. I'm headed out for the first test. This is the cross test and it's about 3 miles long. If you're not familiar, sprint enduros are a race against the clock instead of head-to-head racing like in a hare scramble. In this series, riders are sent out in order by class, one at a time, 15 seconds apart. We'll run each test 4 times for a total of 8 time sections, and the lowest cumulative time wins. I'm racing in the 45 plus C class today. Gulf States off-road classes are set up a little different from SERA classes, so I'll be scored in the C40 plus class for SERA points. The weather today is starting out really nice in the 60s, with temps rising in the low 80s by midday. You can see I'm being pretty cautious on the track. I just don't have any real experience on jumps, and I think I might be too old to learn any serious motocross skills at this point. My GoPro doesn't show how big these jumps were, but some of the photos taken represent it better. This is SERA President Chris Cantrell sending it on this jump. There were only maybe a dozen jumps on the 3-mile loop, so a lot of it was just like a turn track, and I enjoyed that. This was my favorite section of the cross test. I think it's because I could see some trees. I uploaded a full unedited video of both tests. If you're interested in that, I'll put a link in the video description. At the riders meeting, they really stressed that we had to stay on the track and couldn't straighten out the turns. They didn't ribbon off all the turns, and my hare scramble mindset was just screaming at me to straighten out some of these horseshoe turns, but I couldn't do it. At the end of test 1, loop 1, I'm in second place in my class with a time of 8 minutes, 53 seconds. Now I'm headed out for the first loop on test 2. This test was a good mix of some really open, fast stuff, but also some really tight woods racing as well. Some of the areas on this test looked like they were recently cut with a bush hog or a skid steer, and they were pretty rough. The KYB suspension on these Yamahas really handles the rough stuff well, and fast lap racing suspension has my valving set up perfectly for a mix of obstacles and terrain like we have at this race. There were a few low areas where the ruts got bad, especially for little bikes. The volunteers at this race did a good job of trying to reroute the bad areas throughout the race. This is one of the more tight and technical sections on test 2. This is one of the really fast open sections. I'm near the end of test 2 now, and this is one of the worst mud sections of the day. There's my friend Matt Ward getting up from a spill. There was a deep hole in this creek crossing to the left. Luckily, I went right. test 2, loop 1, I'm still in second place behind Blair. The top 4 are still in the same order. There was a lot of movement in 5th through 11th. Notably, Tim has moved from 8th up to 5th. Now it's back to test 1 for the second loop. There were 8 loops total, so I'll cover the rest of the race a little more quickly. After test 1, loop 2, I moved up to 1st with Tony and Matt in 2nd and 3rd. After test 2, loop 2, I'm still in 1st, and Matt moved up to 2nd place. The finishing order stayed mostly the same after that loop. I finished 1st in my class with a cumulative time of 1 hour, 46 minutes, 34 seconds. Matt and Tony finished in 2nd and 3rd. Big thanks to Gulf States Off-Road and the Southern Enduro Riders Association for hosting the race, and also thanks to the volunteers and scoring personnel. If you enjoy these race recap videos, please let me and YouTube know that by hitting the like button. That really helps me out. Thanks for watching.